Okay, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. It's Tuesday, and we did get rain last night. I knew we would, so we're gonna try to push through it today. We have to, man. I don't really have a whole lot of room for error. Yesterday we were supposed to cut those big cuts, and then Cam didn't come in, so I didn't cut anything. I didn't cut nothing yesterday. So. It hurt us a little bit, but I needed to get that brush cutter fixed. So, um, then I had some other stuff around the house I had to do too. So, uh, yeah, y'all. So Phil's on the way. Uh, Now he's gonna be in the second truck. Um, well, really, why don't he just ride with you? Well, I feel like you get more of the real experience of what I'm looking for if you're in the other truck. To me, I want to be able to turn them loose in the other truck. I don't want to, as quickly as possible. And now if it was a younger guy that ain't got no sense or whatever, I may feel a little bit. But to have Phil out here to do this, and he's looking forward to it. So I don't want to hold his hand or nothing if I don't have to. I just want to get him familiar with the properties, right? That's all. And I need to get him, you know, used to the process of the other truck, trailer, unloading the mower, loading the mower, and all that. And then, I want to show him, like a lot of jobs today. I mean, I want to be the weed eater guy. You know, that's what I want to be, because I'm a hell of a weed eater ground guy. I'm a bad boy when it comes to that, because I know exactly what to do. Let me get my Bluetooth turned on. I had to turn that shit off, man. Let's see. But if he rides with me, then we can't. We got to be together the whole time, and I think that we can do better than that. If we got two trucks, then we can be a lot more efficient for sure. I added two properties onto today because that we're taking two trucks. So, and I think that we'll be able to incorporate those two. Because see what happens now is, if I get done before him, I can leave him at the previous property. And I can go on to the next one, and then he can, he's got a list just like this in the truck with him, and then he can just follow along. He doesn't have to follow me around like a little child all day. That's just the thinking. And some people might say, "Well, man, he really ain't ready to run the other truck." Yeah, I mean, who is? Uh, you know, I mean, anybody that I get, he's a lot more qualified to run the other truck than anybody else I've had out here this year. You just got to have a feeling sometimes, about guys that work with you and whatever, and that feeling is based on experience and experience with other guys that have been out here with me. So I know what to do, and I know I can't. If I was training for a job or trying to, just a little bit of a part-time gig like he's going to do with me, if I was doing that, then that's what I would want. I would want to be in the realest scenario as possible, and it doesn't get any realer than him being in the other truck, actually having to drive it. That's a part of the job. Well, they say driver's ed, man. No, it ain't. But how do you expect, say he rides with me for 2 weeks, 2 full weeks out here in this truck, then he's got to get accustomed to the truck too. That just seems to me, like another step that's not necessary with somebody that I trust. You got to be able to trust that they can drive, trust their judgment, and see, those are things that Phil has that most guys that come out here don't. Well, a lot of times they never get it. I never trusted Zach's judgment. I never trusted Toby's judgment, because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They had to learn, and Toby was the guy that well, he never was going to get there, but he thought that he knew everything. So, well, you think you know everything? And no, I don't think I know everything, but I know if something happens, I got to pay. I know that. And I know I'm paying whoever is in the other truck. So I'm going to have more of a say-so than them at this point, because I got to pay. I mean, it's just common sense. But if he's in the truck with me, there's a lot of little procedural things that he's going to have to do being in that other truck. Now, if we have a flat tire on the trailer or anything happens, then I roll the dice and, you know, if we have a wreck, I mean, a lot of things that happen, because I'll be honest with you, it's 100% not necessary to have the other truck out here today. I can tell you that right now. So I know that, but I'm willing to, you know, allow that to happen and spend a little more money on fuel and a little more of a risk for the payoff at the end. If we wreck the truck, then it ain't worth it, of course. If the lawnmower slides off that trailer, I mean, it ain't worth it, of course. If anything happens, other than maybe a flat tire on the trailer, which you shouldn't have a flat tire unless it's got brand new tires on it. Tell you what, man, having a guy that wants to be out here, that's actually looks forward to, he says that being a pilot, he doesn't get enough exercise. That's the read that I'm getting here. So, just something about him, man, that I really like, man. And, you know, we know that I'm fortunate to have a guy, you know, that actually wants to be out here. I just wish he was available, you know, all the time. And I don't know, man. I've just never really experienced that. He's not, you know, most of the time I get guys out here, they're desperate for money. And sometimes that can work in your favor, but more than likely it doesn't in the long run. Because if they're desperate for money when they come in, it's a never ending, they're built like that. Some people are built to be desperate for money, because they don't know they don't know how to manage their money. So before they ever even got involved with coming out here and working with Ray, I never get guys out here that know that, you know, that are able to handle, you know, their life and be able to manage their life really more than anything. So, but I'm stoked having him out here, man. I really am, man. You know, but he says, you know, I'm assuming that at this phase of his pilot career, that he sits around a lot, and he doesn't like to do that, and that's okay. You know, don't worry, out here he'll make money and see. But I guess I'm just not as stressed with him, because number one, he's older and he's a lot more maturer, and he's not dependent on me for every dollar that he makes. He doesn't have to have, I mean, he would survive without it, you know. And then on the other flip side of that, it's a nice little learning spot for me to be in, where I can learn, yeah, I said it, learn how to have a good guy out here, because you got to learn how to do everything, man. Everything. Every part of this business is a learning process, man. Every part of it. From employees to equipment to everything. So he has made a to-do list, y'all. I said it. He has made a to-do list. Do's and the don'ts. That's how these guys think. I gotta say, he thinks a lot. I'm a big list guy. I just feel real good about it, man. I mean, I'm giddy almost. You know? It's refreshing, man, you know? All you guys have been watching the channel for a really long time. You guys have seen the labor stuff that I go through, that I've had out here, that whether it's my fault or somebody else's fault, I still have to been through a lot with labor. Right? Y'all know, man. one of the good things about having the other truck. See, I can go on and go. He still got to blow this one off. I ain't got to wait on nobody. And I like that. And they ain't got to wait on me. That's going to make the time where we can incorporate 2 more properties on today that I wouldn't, at least 2 more properties that I would not be able to get if I was in one truck. We gotta, if you're gonna have 2 trucks, I gotta be able to pay for the fuel, and I need to generate more money, obviously, than if I have 1 truck, right? That's my, and so having 2 trucks, you gotta generate, and now I know today I'm not in full profit mode, right? But, being in full profit mode, I'm not in full profit mode. So, but I don't want to go backwards either, you know, with fuel or whatever for the other truck. So we're gonna at least get enough to pay some of Phil's pay and definitely cover all the fuel in that truck. So extra on top of what I would normally get. So at the end of the day, it's gonna cost me less than it costs for Cam to be out here, and I'm gonna be making better time. So, and we're getting more done just by having someone in the second truck. So I know how to put the second truck in the scenario to win. So, you know, probably not gonna get no footage over here, y'all, because there's a lot more grass over here than detail. And though this is the first time Phil's been to any of these properties, he did pretty fast over there. And so, but the biggest thing with guys new out here is learning the expectations of each customer, because every customer is different. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to do it this way, because that customer might not want you to do it that way. That customer might not be paying for you to do all that detail, you know. And the only way to understand that, you can't just do all the yards the same way. Because if they're not paying for me to edge and stuff, I don't want to edge. If they're not paying for me to spray the beds, then I don't want to weed eat the beds. They got to be paying. Shoot, y'all, moving right along, man. Being able to leapfrog in front of each other is sweet, man. So I'm headed to the 3rd one, and it's 9:15. So. And he's got to blow that one off. See, if I had to wait on him, then this next one, it's going to be really easy. But if I had to wait on him, like I would if it were Cam or whatever, well, Cam's always waiting in the truck, but Cam doesn't do as thorough of a job. You got to take your time a little bit. The kids always are like that, so it ain't nothing against any of the kids, but they're always trying to hurry up and get back to the truck. And a lot of times that bites them. I don't worry about Phil, because Phil, I'm watching Phil as he's working, and I can tell a guy is, you know, being thorough. He's not real fast, he's not real slow. I like that. I like a guy to be in the middle. If you're too fast, I guarantee you miss something. If you're too slow, then you don't know what you're doing. So you got to be thorough, and with each property, the more you do it, the quicker you're going to be. Get your thoroughness down first. And I'm talking to the little guys out here. I ain't talking to none of the great big outfits and stuff. I'm talking to the little guys. Because the great big outfits, they got so many guys that, I mean, hell, you bound to damn get it done up to specs. Bound to. If you put 4 guys on a lawn like that, 3 guys on a lawn like that, how can you miss? Well, you can. So now I'm headed over here to the next one, and we're cooking with gas. He'll be about 10 minutes behind me. That'll give me enough time to get pulled in there and to get a place for him to be able to set up for him to park somewhere. 50 in fuel is, well, that'll cover this whole route. And then what I pay him too. So that's all great, man. So yeah, so I was looking at the time from the last time me and Cam did this route, and we're like an hour and 20 minutes ahead of schedule. We are. And this time it's 3 weeks out. So, you know, yeah. So we're making really, really, really good time. Of course, it's costing a little bit more too. About like what I was thinking, you know, when I added the 2 properties on to the day. The one we're going to now is the last one on the regular route, and it's just now 12. Me and Cam won at this point last rotation, and it had only been 2 weeks out. We were not this far along. It was like, you know, like 110, 115 at this point. We were doing good to get done by 2. 2's not the goal, but that's usually around the time that we are wrapping things up. We're an hour and 10 or 15 minutes ahead of schedule, for sure. And we're making it up every job because we're not having to do nothing twice. That's you know. That's a big deal. So, all right, man. So, yeah, we got done with. Well, we made extra money. We made an additional $80 on picking up a big branch. I told Phil if he wanted to help me with the branch, I'd throw him another 20. So, and all we had to do was drag it from the tree that it was at and drag it to the woods and then cut it. So I used the mower to drag it and cut it off the tree, and then I pulled it to the wood line, and then Phil cut it into pieces and threw it in the woods with the saw. So, I mean, pretty sweet, man. And you know, now we're still ahead of the game, and we made an additional $80. So, ahead of the game, made an additional $80, and we're making better time now than what we were still, because that only took us 15 minutes. And we're going to do 2 more. So, and then you throw the spray in too, man. Probably done. And then these other 2 yards, 150, 210 plus 80, 300 and what? 210 plus 80. So $290 that we're going to make more than we did on the last rotation, and we're going to get off earlier. We're actually going to get off earlier. Shit.